Okay. So anyway, so yeah, so you'll need to read the experiment from the lab manual, watch the videos, complete the pre-lab quiz and the pre-lab notebook. And so with the pre-lab notebook, since right now at this like current time, like I have no definitive like class time for you guys. I know in the group meeting I said that this is more just like a Q&A session. Um, but then you're going to have students that are like, well, I couldn't make it. And so I'm thinking about just doing like an actual class, like a Zoom class. Like, so that's what I was saying to move it to Friday. So that way everyone can be there. Cause what I want to be able to do is, for when you guys come to class, like to the actual, Zoom classes like I'll ask like, you know, Janelle or Heather or James, say, hey, can you like show me your pre-lab, and you'll hold it up to the camera and I'll see it, or I can make you a host and you can share your screen and you can, show me what you've done so far. Um, so anyway, and nobody here is in the wrong section, right? Nobody here is supposed to be in like group A or anything like that, and they're just here because they don't want to go to class, right? Okay, cool. Um, and so here is a breakdown of your pre-lab notebook. Um, so there's a 20-point penalty if it's not done correctly. So you have your title, which should be the title that's listed on the PDF that Dr. Rastogi posts from the lab manual. You'll have a purpose and an objective. All these things should be like pretty much listed in the lab manual, so you don't have to like think of it. Apparatus, again, these are all listed in the lab manual. The hazards. So one of the things it says here is to put it in a table. So you can do a table. You can do like bullet points if you want. Just like make it organized and easy to follow. If I have to like try to decipher what you're putting on there, then I'll let you know. And if it keeps happening, just take off points.
Should we like write that all out, or can we just link like an MSDS or something?
Oh, no links. Yeah,
All
no.
right, all right.
Yeah, no, all written out, everything like that. And I'll go over an example, like lab notebook. It is written out, but that's because like these are students that actually like took it in class. So they would actually turn them in like into lab like when they came in, but y'all obviously are not coming in, so there's no point in you guys writing it out.
So
Um,
since you
Go ahead.
so since you said that like on Fridays you would have somebody like hold up their pre-lab just to see where we were,
Mhm.
does that mean that we're supposed to like, should we write it on paper first?
No, no. So yeah. So also what I said was like or share your screen. That's what I meant to say, which I
Oh,
said
okay,
up in
okay.
the old way. But yeah, like share your screen and then I'll like look at
Sure.
it, and so it'll just be random though. Like I won't call on the same people all the time or
Okay.
um. But yeah. So and then there'll be some pre-lab calculations. So like theoretical yield, limiting reactant as you guys go on and stuff like that, which I believe you guys should know how to do already. I think you guys learned that in OChem or in Chem 2, but if we need to do a refresher, we can. And then the procedure is in bullet form. Um, yeah, you know, just copy it from your lab notebook. I know it sounds horrible, because we're not supposed to plagiarize, but there's not really much, creativity you have with that. And then I believe there should be yeah, so let's go back up here actually. So to the purpose and the objective, sorry. And so one of the things it says in here is and its usefulness in organic chemistry. This is like a big one for us. So, you know, don't say like it's useful because it helps determine things or something really like obvious. You know what I mean? Like try to be a little creative with that. You guys have the internet. You guys can look things up. So I know it's just 1 point. So if you're okay with getting 1 point taken off every time, I mean, it's your grade, not mine. I don't care. Um, and so, and then so after this week, So you'll do a post-lab notebook. So you guys should all like already have your pre-labs done. So, but again, like I'm not going to ask anyone this time about like, you know, what to show me anything, because I said that there wasn't going to be like a definitive, like actual class. And so, and if I could just ask real quick, is everybody here because they could not go to the Tuesday at 10 a.m.? Is that why everyone who's here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I figured, but
I just figured you picked one.
okay. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, you just pick one, it's fine. I just try to make two because I know some people, and there's some people who can't make either of them, which is crazy, but anyway, so it changes to experimental procedure. There won't be any because you're not actually doing anything. So that should never have to have anything written in. And then data analysis, again, there is going to be a like set of data that Dr. Rastogi sends out or posts to Canvas, and you just use that. Don't like just use someone else's just because you want to, because I will be comparing your answers to the data that is assigned to you. And also, guys, like, you know, in the group me, like preferably, or in an email, you know, just let me know if you're not going to be able to come to class, or not come to class, but you know, if you're not going to be able to, you know, do something on time or whatever, and then we can work something out. But just don't like not do it and then, you know, expect us to like not notice, because you know, this week, you know, we will be, you know, I've been like pretty lax on, you know, people turning things in on time, or you know, the quality of things. But you know, as you go on, I expect you guys to fix those things. Since you will use amounts which are not exactly what your book called for, you must calculate the actual theoretical % yield. But I mean, yeah, so you guys have to do all that stuff because we're giving you data. So the data that's in the lab manual, you're not using that. So don't just look at it and go, okay, one, and then do all your calculations. Like there will be a set of data that you have to use. So yeah, so grading, punctuality, again, like that's not really for us. But attitude is a big one for me. So please know, like crazy antics I've seen like on Instagram or like TikTok, stuff like that. People like, you know, yelling and all that crap. Participation, depending on like how the lab's going, I might like ask them like a general question to the class, or might ask just somebody like a question.
I have a question.
Sure, what's up?
So like if you move it to like Friday and we have like the actual class, we're like required, we have to be like there the whole class time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we wouldn't have the Q&As at all on Monday anymore?
I mean, I could probably still have those just because like, I mean, I kind of look at that as like an office hour kind of.
Okay, yeah.
Or just to answer questions for you guys or whatever.
Like,
But
the lab stuff.
But yeah, the only thing is though is like you'd be asking me about things that we haven't talked about yet. So it wouldn't we you know, we'd have that office hour or whatever on Monday, and then you know, but we actually wouldn't go over anything until Friday. So you know, if you do have questions, I mean, come like, but you know, unless it's about something from last week's lab, like generally I'll probably answer it whenever the lab actually starts.
Mm-hmm.
Let me check. What time on Friday do you think? What time on Friday do I think? Definitely after 11. So probably because I have class at 10 o'clock. So probably like, I was thinking like 1 o'clock.
That looks good.
Yeah, I mean, but there's like a whole ton of y'all. So, you know, gotta make sure it works for everybody. That's the thing is, and that's what I don't really understand is like, I don't know why they didn't you guys have like sign up for this with a defined time associated with it, you know, that way you guys all knew like, okay, I can actually take this class and take it at the time that the TA is available. So trying to work with all you guys to get a time assigned has been kind of a pain in the ass. And then there's this extra credit opportunity. I haven't talked about that with Dr. Rastogi. He hasn't talked about that like with us. So I really don't know like a whole lot about it, but if you guys want, I can ask him, or y'all can email him. It says he'll provide some details on it. I don't know if anyone's looked at it. Has anyone looked at it? No? Okay. I didn't think so. And then there's the grading policy. And I don't know if you guys have the ability to drop anything. So it's, yeah, it's below. Yeah, I don't see anything about like a drop. Okay, wait, one lowest grade, lab notebook. Okay, so there will be one lowest grade to drop, and then blah, blah, blah. And then I guess that the drop deadline is 11/19, but October 26th to get 60% of your refund back, I guess. And also, guys, like, I know that like the COVID stuff sucks. Please let me know if you guys do end up getting infected or whatever. I really don't care. But I actually did contract it, and it's not fun. I did lose my sense of taste and smell. So, but if you do get it, it's not, at least for me, unless you have some like underlying health conditions. I thought I was gonna like die, but it was fine. It wasn't a big deal for me. So, but if you guys do, and you guys do get like super sick and you guys can't get out of bed, you know, I know that you're online, so you might feel like, well, I'm online, I should be able to go to class. But, you know, if you're feeling so terrible, like, please, you know, email me or Dr. Rastogi and let us know, and we can work something out. So, and here is just a schedule of the labs. Again, it breaks it down for you, like when things are due, stuff like that. This is all pretty straightforward. And so I guess before we get into the lab, I just wanted to talk about and show you guys, I don't know if you guys have looked at this example lab notebook in here, but this is basically how it's written out. So type it just the same, have a header, everything like that. But in y'all's, please put your IA. So like put me, obviously, and the date, and yeah, and so, yeah, so just like you guys don't have to cross things out in yours, because, you know, you'll be typing things out, so you can just delete it and then fix it.
Is a copy of this posted on the actual Canvas site?
Is this like what I'm showing you now? Is it posted to Canvas? Yeah, yeah, it should be under files, under example lab notebook.
Yep.
So it should be there. And if it's not, then I guess only I can see it, but I think everyone should be able to see it.
It is.
So,
Everyone can see it. I looked at that before.
okay, do you have a question?
Oh no, I was just saying you could see that. Like everyone could see that.
Okay, cool.
Canvas.
Yeah. Let's see, got a chat going on here. What time on Friday? Yeah, it's available. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so just like it says in here, this section should provide relevant background information relating to your experiment, to understand the utility of the experiment. So yeah, so just read this, go through it, kind of like understand, like not necessarily what it's talking about, like the actual like stuff, but, you know, just understand kind of like what they're trying to say about the experiment, and kind of like what kind of things you should include for your experiment. So like, you know, for example, like in this experiment, the phenol Grignard will be prepared from a bromobenzene and magnesium, you know, so like for your experiment, it'll be like, in this experiment, we'll be recrystallizing benzoic acid, blah, 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 from whatever solvent, you know what I mean? Like from water. Doesn't have to, like, you don't have to like restate like the entire procedure, like just like one sentence should be good enough. And then obviously, like, you know, if it says something in the lab manual where you're going to be doing, you know, IR spectroscopy, well, you're not, you know what I mean? I mean, if you guys want to include something that you know that you're actually not going to do, but I don't know, maybe you guys will actually do like some IR, not actually do it, but get the graphs and just interpret them. So yeah, so the hazards. So as you see here, like he just has his listed, but it's like in a neat way. So it's not necessarily like a table, but it's like, you know, titled hazards, and each one's underlined and separated, and they're not all like just one long like run-on sentence. And yeah, and so like in red here, it says this section should include all chemicals used. So even ones that you're using all the time, like acetone or whatever, like water, like you don't have to put that, it's fine. But if you're using something and says to use it, then I'll make sure you guys do include it in here. And so, yeah, so pre-lab calculations. So, you know, here's just like a reaction, different steps, different reagents that they're using. So someone asked, changes to the experimental procedure in the post-lab notebook. You don't have to do it. No, because you're not actually doing the lab. Normally, like a change will be like, hey guys, like, you know, we don't have this compound, so you're going to do this instead, or, you know, you're going to use this solvent instead of this one. Like, there's all this is like, you know, not hypothetical, but it's, you know what I mean? It's like imaginary kind of. So.
For the pre-lab
Go ahead.
I have a question for the pre-lab calculations. Since like you want it in a Word document, do you want us to like type out how you do the calculations, or like type it kind of like that still?
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to like. I think Word has a equation function that you can use, and it should like set it up like this, where you can have like moles over grams and all that stuff. But if you need help with that or whatever, like I can help you, or you can like, you know, YouTube how to insert an equation into a Word doc. But I mean, yeah. So yeah, so I want it to look like this. I don't want it to look like with a little like, you know, slash and all that. I want it to look, you know, basically like how it is here.
Can we actually like draw it out on paper, take a picture of it, and then upload it to the Word document?
Yeah, I don't want. If you're gonna put it into the Word document, then that's fine.
Okay.
But not as like a separate document though. Just for clarification. But if it's like embedded in the Word document, that's fine. So yeah, so we'll go over like limiting react and all that stuff in the future. Yeah, so if you are performing a current involving a chemical reaction, that reaction should be included in this section. However, you do not need to draw out the full mechanism. So that's kind of what this is, the mechanism here. But this is like a condensed version. This isn't like all the arrow pushing and stuff like that. And so yeah, so here is the procedure. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he just like copied it from the lab manual straight away. So yeah. So like right here, like, you know, they use sodium sulfate instead of calcium chloride. You know, it'd be something that could happen in lab, but you know, we're not doing that. And then there's like no melting point analysis, and that's probably because like they didn't have time to do it, whereas you guys aren't actually doing anything. You're not actually going to lab, so there is no time to do anything. And then data, there's all the data in the Excel sheet that Dr. Rastogi posted and gave to you guys. And then here's the post-lab calculations. You guys won't be doing that for this one. So yeah, and then there's like post-lab questions. And so let's go to here. So everyone should have access to this document. This is your lab manual document. So does everyone kind of have an understanding of like what recrystallization is, and kind of like what it, I mean, you guys all watched the video, right? So you guys could have all seen like how it went in like went into solution, and you cooled it back down, and then all the impurities all precipitated out and all that stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So for example, like this chart. So one of the things they talked about in the video was that you want to choose the correct solvent. So let's say hypothetically you didn't know already like which one you would pick. You would find a chart like this, or Google it, look at an MSDS, stuff like that, and look at the solubility of what you have in different solvents. And so, and if you guys want to turn off your cameras, you can at this point. I don't need to see y'all anymore unless you want to keep it on, whatever. But so yeah, so you look here, and so you have a water, ethanol, methanol, and acetone, so you see copper sulfate is so you guys are going to be recrystallizing benzoic acid, and the impurity is copper sulfate. And so you would see here, you'd say, okay, at 20 degrees Celsius, which is basically a room temperature, you would see that at room temperature, this is extremely soluble at room temperature, and this is like very insoluble. So you would pick this one because you know that once it cools back down, all this will precipitate out. Well, this will precipitate out. This won't. Sorry, this will precipitate out. Yes, and so like it says, so from analyzing table 1, we can conclude the proper solvent to produce solid benzoic acid at 20 degrees Celsius while leaving the copper sulfate in solution is water. And also, just because you see that this is like the opposite, so the acetone, you see that this is very insoluble and this is soluble. If you heat it up, it wouldn't necessarily be the opposite in that the benzoic acid would precipitate out due to the chemical properties of acetone. And then, so that's the recrystallization part. And so the melting temperature part of it, and you guys should read all this background information. But basically, you're going to use the melting point to determine like what your unknown is. And just something here that I thought was important. The melting temperatures are usually reported as values within a range of 2 to 3 degrees. So try to whatever your melting temp is that is in the Excel sheet, try to really keep that into consideration when you're determining what your unknown is for that melting temperature. And here's some background information talking about like what the melting temp, how when you have a mixed compound, how their melting temperatures and like how much of one of each is in it. So there's like an 80-20, how that affects the melting temperature versus like 60-40, and kind of like how it's on a curve here. And so yeah, so kind of like it says here, it says you have a sample comprised of A and B at a different ratio. The sample will begin to melt at temperature E and will continue to melt until the composition of the liquid reaches the ratio defined at the eutectic mixture. So the way I interpret that is whichever one is more of which, it'll lean to that melting temperature. So if you're, let's say for example, your melting point, you have two things, A and B, and your melting point of A is 95 degrees and B is, 120 degrees, and you have an 80-20, chances are you're gonna like melt somewhere closer to like 95, or no, closer to like 97, like 100. So like 5 degrees off from that one, as opposed to, I'm closer to the one where there's less, but that has a higher melting temp. Does that make sense? Not hearing any no's, so that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like sit here and read this procedure out to you guys. You'll determine how much you need based on. So if you guys, okay, all right, that's fine. So if someone can answer this just by looking at this procedure here, do we want to keep the solvent cool, or do we want to heat it up? Anyone can answer.
Heat it up.
Heat it up. Yep, right. So, and as you can see here, you're going to be transferring some benzoic acid into water. So 2 grams per liter at 25 degrees Celsius, which that's not relevant, and 68 degrees. So 68 grams per liter at 95 degrees Celsius. So this is the value that you want to use. So let's say hypothetically, this isn't the data you're going to use, but you guys have the 1 gram, right? So in the Excel, you guys have like a 1.01 or something like that. How would you determine how much water you need to dissolve your solid benzoic acid? Does anybody know how to do it?
Could you repeat that?
So in order to determine how much you need, how much water you need, how would you determine how much water you need based on the amount of benzoic acid you have? So you have like 1.0 something, but in this case, this is 1. And it dissolves at 68 grams per liter.
Why don't you do like 1,000 over 68 times your sample amount?
Okay, say that again? That sounds right.
Couldn't you do like 1,000 mils divided by 68 grams and then multiply it by your sample weight?
So yeah, I don't think you'd have to multiply it by 1,000 or multiply it by the sample weight. In this case, it would just be 1,000. So, but yeah, so basically how I do it is, let's say it's just 1. I just divide the 1 gram by 68. So a little dimensional analysis. And then I multiply that value by 1,000 to get the amount of liquid that you need. So I'm pretty sure we're saying the same thing, but I think mine just requires a little bit more steps. And I think it's a little bit more clear. So does everyone understand like what I'm saying in order to find the amount of water you need?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody not understand?
Can you
Okay.
just repeat what you did really quickly?
So yeah, so I took 1 gram and I multiplied it by 1 liter over 68 grams. So that'll give you a 1 over 68, and then I multiplied that by 1,000 to give you in mils.
Milliliters.
Does that make sense?
You said 1,000 over 68 or 100 over 68?
So I said 1 over 68.
1 over 68. Okay, thank you.
So, and then you'll get a decimal value, and then you multiply that by 1,000 to get a milliliters. And so, and I believe and I'll show you later on kind of how that shows up. But anyway, so yeah, so you get that. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to read this to you guys. But one thing though, I will say is to make sure that you do record your product amount to the nearest 0.001. So to the nearest 1,000. And then, yeah, so save your solid, whatever, you're not going to be doing that. And then, so here's how you're gonna record your data, excuse me. And so this is how you're gonna put it into your Word document. And all that should be in the Excel sheet for you. And then here's your
Do we
benzoic
submit?
acid.
Oh, for like
Oh,
our
go ahead.
data, we submit like us typing out that, not like actually a PDF of us filling that out.
Yeah, no, an actual so your actual like lab report will have this in it. So yeah, you're not going to use this
If we wanted, I'm sorry. If we wanted to, like, could we actually like copy and paste the table and then just put our values in it?
I mean, if you can, yeah, if it lets you, I have no problem with
Like,
that.
okay.
Yeah. And so yeah.
Other than that, we just make an Excel and plug that into our Word document along with everything else.
Yeah, if you
Gotcha.
wanted, if you want to make the table in Excel, then transfer that to the Word doc, then that's fine.
Gotcha.
And so, and then you'll do the melting temperatures. Again, those are in the Excel sheet, and you'll determine what your product was based on those melting temperatures. And then also, just something else I want to tell you guys too is that the first question you're not going to do to calculate the percent recovery of benzoic acid and aspirin. I'm on Dr. Rastogi today, and he said that you're not doing that. And then, yeah, just answer all the other questions. Did he say if you guys have post-lab questions?
I believe so.
Okay, because I don't see any like attached to this document here, so I don't know if you have it or not. But
do we just consider the data analysis as our post-lab questions?
I mean, no. I mean, unless you have them, like I wouldn't just consider it. No. Hold on a second. Let me check something real quick.
Yeah, I think only like some labs may have them at the end.
Yeah, for
Okay.
instance, this lab doesn't have them, but I think some others do.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I don't remember seeing any like post-lab questions for this lab, but I know that that's like part of your like what you guys have to do. And then yeah, so does anybody here have any questions with anything I've gone over so far?
Not at the moment.
Okay. And so here's just a basically like a flow chart, and probably some of your labs will consist of a flow chart on how to do things. So here they're talking about adding the benzoic acid and the water to a 150 ml beaker, and that's how they got the 15 mils, was based on the calculation that I talked about earlier. Yeah, and there's like things in here, like add 1 to 2 mils of water if needed. I'm pretty sure that's in the lab manual, but I won't take off any points if you guys don't add like things like that. When it not for this lab specifically, I don't want you guys to do a flow chart like this. But in the future, if you guys do, there's like little like nuances, like add 1 to 2, like you guys don't have to add things like that, or like based on solubility, like just add the amount that you calculated. Yeah, this basically just like walks you through the lab. Honestly, really don't know why I'm even showing you guys this, because you guys watched a video that I'm covered all this, but I just felt like maybe it might help if you guys saw it. But yeah, so that's it. So does anybody have any questions? Because that's pretty much it for this. No?
And so the pre-lab and the post-lab are going to be due on the due date, like every Friday?
Every Sunday.
Sunday, okay.
So yeah, so